Hey Cookie fans, we're here at the Ontario Science Centre and we are going to space and beyond with Colonel Hadfield. Let's go!
It all started with Neil Armstrong. The moment Armstrong descended from the lunar module to explore the moon's surface on July 20th, 1969, 9-year-old Chris Hadfield knew he wanted to be an astronaut. To Be an Astronaut is a new exhibit at the Ontario Science Centre that features personal items on loan from the Canadian astronaut and highlights Colonel Chris Hadfield's career and the importance of education and inspiration.
Are you ready? Cookies. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Colonel Hadfield! To science and beyond!
I think it's curious how evolution has designed us as a species. We get the ability to walk before we have any common sense at all, before we have really any understanding, before we've learned to talk. We don't know how to read, we don't know how to write, we don't know what anything is, but evolution has recognized that the necessity to explore is fundamental in the development of being a human being. And it has to come early on. You have to be able to interact with your environment. You have to be able to leave where you're stuck and go look at something different in order to get a perspective that will then teach you and deepen your comprehension of the universe around you. I was 9 years old when this place was being built. The same time that humans were first leaving the planet, after the 12th of April and the 5th of May, we'd worked through the Mercury program, the Gemini program, the Apollo program, and on July 20th, 69, when Mike and Neil and Buzz went to the moon, and Neil and Buzz, just at the very limit of what a toddling little human being could do, managed to get themselves with 16 seconds of fuel left to touch down on the moon. That was watched by billions of us around the world, and it inspired millions of us. And just 2 months later, the doors to this place opened. And I walked in as a 10-year-old kid. Curious, interested, very inexperienced at the world, but ready to be taught, ready to be stimulated, ready to be assaulted by the reality of the three-dimensional learning that is the Science Center. And not very long after that, when Neil and Buzz had been kicking around in the moon, they were only there for a day. It was nip and tuck whether we would fall and crack our heads completely on that attempt. But they picked up a few things off the surface. They got themselves back up, docked up back with Mike, screaming back to Earth, plummeted down into the ocean with those few pieces of the moon carefully treasured in a secure bunch of Ziploc, whatever the predecessor to Ziploc bags were back then, sealed up, carried as one of the most precious human acquisitions in history to a curation facility at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, and then very carefully, those rare first fragments of another planet were decided who on the world should see these things close up. And one of them was sent here. And this little Canadian kid, shortly after I'd seen those people walk on the moon, got to come into this building and actually see a piece of another planet. Talk about a long little toddling walk and leap of imagination. 26 years later, almost to the day, I was laying on my back on a rocket ship at the Kennedy Space Center. Same launch pad that Neil and Buzz and Mike had launched from. And we blast off the pad. You accelerate to the speed you need to be in orbit, which is 8 kilometers a second. You come racing up, pieces of the rocket fall away. If everything works perfectly, you're spit free, you're in orbit around the world, and you're heading on an arcing path up over the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, and the world, silently as it always does, turns underneath you. And I figured out beforehand, because I did the math, that when I come around the world, 90 minutes after launch, we're going to cross southern Ontario. And so I planned it, because you never know what the weather's going to be. It was November, and so I had a camera pre-staged, and I put a long lens on it before launch, because I knew I'd be feeling sick and discombobulated and time would be short. But my watch alarm went off about 80 minutes after launch. And I went, why is my watch alarm going? Oh, shoot, I'm coming up in Ontario. And I went and got the camera, got it out, got myself up to the shuttle window, which was upside down, those top windows of the shuttle looking at the world, and positioned myself. We came screaming across the American Midwest, and I could start to see Lake Huron and Lake Erie, and in the distance, Lake Ontario. And we came smack dab over the town. I was like, right, as if someone had predestined it, right smack dab over Sarnia, Ontario, the hospital I was born in. And then the shuttle went right down the 402 and picked up the 401 in London, where I learned to fly airplanes when I was just 16. And it came right across my parents' farm, which is just south of Milton, and then it came right overhead here. And I took that camera, and of course I took pictures. I was taking pictures all the way across these places that only 90 minutes ago I'd been on Earth, and trying to somehow tie it all together in my head, that all these things are happening in one lifetime. And to be able to see Toronto come into view with the Humber and to see the Don Valley from orbit and be able to take pictures of it and try and mutter the thank yous to the countless number of people that I'll never met and the countless number of people that directly taught and enabled me in order to be one of the very first Canadians to have, on behalf of so many other people, to have that first perspective of where we truly are in the world and where the world truly is in the universe.
To Be an Astronaut is now a part of the permanent collection at Ontario Science Centre. Join us next time when we give Colonel Chris Hadfield a present. Until then, remember to keep your brain fed with noms for your noggin. If you like what we do here at Cranium Cookie and would like to help us make more, look for the link in the description box to consider supporting future episodes.